Hey guys, Dory. So this video is actually going to be talking to you a little bit about Program 3. So I'm very excited because Program 2 finally is done. Done. The content is all done for Program 2, and so I'm revamping everything. I'm taking out that register because you guys aren't quite ready for it for Program 2. And I'm revamping a lot of it, which I'm excited about because the flow is just going to be better. It's going to be easier for you guys to take in bite-sized pieces. I've shared with you already about Program 2. So Program 1 is the food foundation, right? Where you're learning the basics. You're learning how to read a label. You're learning how to food prep, how to food group, how to start taking your macros, which you don't really know are macros yet unless you've gone through all of Program 2. You're learning to group your macros, which is just protein, fats, and carbohydrates. You're learning to do that. We're also getting in a little bit to the emotional side of compulsive overeating and food binging and all of that stuff. How family relationships affect our habits. Even the habits that we've learned just growing up, you're starting to understand those things, the psychology that goes along with why we do what we do. You're starting to get just a little taste of that. Now, Program 2, we go on about the 4 pillars of health. I did have that as a 5 pillars of health program, and I've taken the 5th out, which is emotional sobriety, because it in and of itself is a whole nother program. There was simply too much content to that. Too much of us really requiring to be coaching, to be talking about just that in order to try to weave that into all the other stuff, where I really want you guys educated on the 4 pillars, which is exercise and starting to learn how to take care of ourselves, because self-care goes along big time with exercise. It goes along with everything, but when we start understanding the relationship that we have with ourselves, and I'm going to be mentioning this word over and over, and you haven't heard me say it a whole lot yet, but you're going to hear it a lot. We have to learn to start nurturing ourselves. So many of us did not get and have not gotten the emotional nurturing that we require to be living our best life, to be our best, to feel our best. We haven't had that emotional nurturing, and we haven't learned to give it to ourselves. And once we start to learn that, our health habits change, and we start learning about the relationship that we have with ourselves. So many of us don't even know what that is because we've been wearing a hat, the different roles, the mom hat, or for me, the nurse hat, or the food coach hat, or the social media hat, or we're just in these roles, and yet who are we? As people, we stop caring for ourselves, and we don't get that nurturing that we need. Once we do, life changes. And so you start to get a little tiny taste of that in Program 1. You get a little tiny taste of that in Program 2 because we start talking about self-care. So week 1 in Program 2 is exercise and self-care. Then we go into water and hydration. Then we talk more in depth about nutrition, anti-inflammatory foods versus inflammatory foods. We go into sleep. We talk about sleep that 4th week. And so you're getting the nuggets that you require. I feel 100% sure you need to have that information under your belt to really make sustainable changes. You must know those 4 quadrants of health that make you healthy, on top of food prepping and learning how to food group. These are all skills and things that you must learn to have a solid health foundation. So Program 2, that will wrap it up with that. I took the register out. It's simply I start to teach you how to track goals, but simply it's too soon to do that in Program 2. I feel it's just too soon to do that. That was trial and error for me. It didn't work very well. And so that's okay. That's cool. Because that's really one of those things where I can work more one-on-one with you if we end up doing one-on-one coaching. So what I am going to do for Program 3, we talked about 1 and 2. Program 3, we really don't have time to get into the emotional component so much with Programs 1 and 2. we gloss over it. We share some things. We definitely start to understand what's going on a little bit. We start unpeeling that onion layer, right? We're like an onion that has so many layers to us. I always call it like the puzzle too, the big puzzle that has a million different pieces. Well, we have a lot of different pieces to us too. And we can't just take one thing and go, okay, well, let's learn this and that will work. Well, we know it doesn't work. There's how many diet programs out there. There's how many food plans out there. If they were working for the majority of this country, we wouldn't have the majority of this country that is struggling with chronic disease and obesity. You guys, you know me. You know how I feel. Most of those things don't work. Even learning parts of my program, it's only going to work to a certain degree. The third program is all going to be on emotional sobriety and emotional eating. That is the whole program. It is going to be 8 full weeks. So program 1 and 2 are 4 weeks each. The third program is going to be on emotional eating and emotional sobriety. 8 weeks. 8 weeks of that program. We're going to be reading the book called Fat is a Family Affair. That book is written by Judy Hollis. She's a psychologist. She also has struggled with her own compulsive overeating. I believe she struggled with anorexia as well. And she was also married to an abusive alcoholic, which goes right along with a lot of people who have multiple disorders or compulsiveness or obsessiveness about any area in their life. Oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes are married to addicts or narcissistic people and most often always, regardless of who they're married to, they have relationship issues because of their own issues, because they're dealing with their own compulsive and obsessive issues and all of that. So, long story short, the book is amazing. It's multifaceted. It's absolutely a wonderful read. It's going to help us dig into our psyche a little bit more. And you're going to get, what you're going to get in program 3 is we're going to be reading a chapter every week out of that book. Fat is a Family Affair. You can go ahead and order it if you're going to be in the program. We're going to be reading a chapter every week. You're also going to have a video message from me. Now, it could be short, could be longer, I don't know. But I'm going to weave in some definite video content because I want to teach you things like affirmations and anchors. These are videos I've already completed. Again, there wasn't really time to do that in programs 1 and 2, but we'll learn about affirmations. We'll learn about anchors. You learned an anchor in program 2 when you watched the inflammatory and anti-inflammatory foods when I talked about the pig. That's an anchor, but we'll go more into that in program 3. We'll talk a little bit more about that. So we're going to talk about anchors, affirmations, triggers and self-soothing. These are things that are required in order to help us get emotionally stronger. And emotional sobriety, we're going to talk about that. What is it, how to have it? The book is going to have a lot of that detail. So I'm going to be glossing over a lot of that, but really the meat and potatoes is going to be in our group sessions. I can't tell you that enough, and you'll learn how different these group sessions are going to be compared to programs 1 and 2. You'll learn very quickly, probably in the very first one, that we do a total switch where you guys have the foundation that you absolutely required, and now we're getting into that real stuff, the junk. I call it the junk that we all have there that needs to be purged. I know that there's stuff in you guys that absolutely requires purging. We call it in 12 steps emotional constipation. When you're emotionally constipated, it's very hard for you to make changes. It's very hard for you to move forward and to sustain anything. And so that's what we're going to be doing in program 3. We'll read a chapter. You'll get video content every week. And then we'll come to group session and we'll simply talk about what we read, how it applies to our lives, how we feel about it, and it's going to open up a lot for everybody. Now, if you're someone who is not ready to open up yet, but you feel drawn to it and you feel like you want that nurturing, you want that nourishment that you're going to get from being in the group and really starting to listen to the emotional side of it and to read the book. Say you don't feel like talking right now or sharing, you don't have to. There's no pressure. There's no pressure to share anything. You guys know I could talk the whole thing, but I'm going to do my everything not to do that. I'm going to find some coaching and teaching moments, but I want you guys to share. I want you to really share what you're getting from the reading. And of course, I'll share what I'm getting from the reading too. But if you don't feel like sharing, you don't have to. What I like the most and love the most is one of the concepts that I've learned in 12-step, being in a 12-step program, is I learn more when I shut my mouth. I learn more when I listen. That means I learn more when I really start to listen to other people pouring their heart out. And I really start to receive that, and I start to take that in. We can't live our best life without diving into some of the emotional components of why we do what we do. We can't make changes. The changes don't sustain, they don't last. And I'll share with you, just from being at some meetings lately, even some OA meetings, that you could walk into a physician office, and I know this is a nurse, you could walk into a physician office and you could talk to that doctor all day long about your health problems and your weight issues, and he's not going to know what to do. He's not. It's group therapy, and it is touching that emotional side of us. That is that's what heals us. And so you're going to get, like I said, a much greater perspective of what one-on-one coaching with me is going to be like through that program. On top of, you're going to just gain so much. I just know that with all my heart. So I'm excited about that. The cost of the program, just to let you guys know, it's going to be $249. However, you can get 25% off of that, so it brings it down to like $198. It's double the amount of time that the other two programs are, plus it's pretty heavy in coaching. And so, again, though, you can get that 25% off coupon. You can ask me how to do that. I just ask that basically you give me a testimonial and a video, some type of video testimonial, as well as a written testimonial, on top of tagging me in something, which so many of you have already done anyway. But it helps me to promote the program. I'll talk to you in specific about it. It's no big deal to get that 25% off. These are easy things that you can do that help me anyway, that I know that you're getting help from the program anyway. I know that you guys have all gotten something from it because I know what I've put into the content. So, but that's what it's going to be. If you know that you want to get into Program 3, again, message me right away that you want in it, because, again, I want to be able to make sure that I have my groups, who's going to be in them, how large they're going to be, and if I need to separate them at all. But anyway, I'm looking forward to continuing working with you guys. Thank you for trusting me even thus far, going with me through all the growing pains of building the program. It's going to continue to evolve and be great. And so, lastly, I will tell you this. If you end up doing Program 3, and you want to also private coach with me, if you want to do that individualized coaching plan, that one-on-one, I'm going to give you Program 3, listen, for free. Basically, I'm going to take that you put down on Program 3, I'm going to apply it to the individualized coaching plan. So I will take that and apply it down on that, and you'll be able to use that towards your individualized coaching. That's a steal and a half. And I'm not going to do that for very long. Just going to do it for you guys because you are truly my pioneers in the program since I've changed everything. So I want you served very well. I want you to be happy, and I want you to be helped. So I hope you're feeling some of that. And anyway, I look forward to continue working with you. This is going to be the game changer. I'm so excited about it, and hopefully I will see you in group session. You guys take care. Message me with questions. Thanks so much, you guys, for watching.